gonna step on my jokes? That's cool. I'm not the comedian here.
Hey, obviously you're not the fucking comedian here.
Wow.
I mean, clearly, bro.
Welcome to A Dose of Reality. It's your boy, Kid ISO. And I'm here with my boy, my co-host, as usual.
Blake Steele, how's everybody doing?
We all good. So how are you? How's everything? How's your week been, man?
It's been okay, man. It's been smooth. Just a lot of work. I had, what? Was it this week? Yeah, it was this week. I had that what's it called? That monologue project that I had to do.
Right.
With my good friend, Aiden.
Shout out Aiden.
And, yeah, so we did that. Pulled that off.
Okay.
Like a rabbit out of a hat. And, yeah, that was pretty much it, man. Finished that shit up.
No, so...
What'd you do over the weekend?
Well, my mom was actually in town. Shout out moms.
Shout out.
So we actually went to this place called The River for brunch. And we saw my boy, shout out Rasmo, man. We saw my boy Rasmo and I met his sister and we just had some drinks and had some food and I hadn't seen him in a long time. We went to college together. So it was just a good time. And then after that, me and my mom, we went to the Film Museum. And, you know, I know that, like, the Film Museum was so fucked up, cuz. Like, there's this one, like, spot when you go through Africa and shit, right? So, you know, you go through Africa, they show you all this nice shit. It's like, oh, la-di-da-di-da. Oh, here's Senegal. This is the type of food we go. And then you turn a corner and you're in this dark ass fucking hallway and you're just on the Amistad in a slave ship. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, yo, it's just like 1 minute you're just cooling, enjoying all the fucking birds of Africa and shit, and then you're on a slave ship. And these motherfuckers are like whispering shit and moaning and like talking in their own little languages and shit. And it's like, damn, what the fuck? So yeah, that was very, very odd. So I'm walking through this, and like, by the way, I'm probably like 6-7 mimosas in, a few shots. So like, I'm literally.
So you were drunk. I'm
not drunk, but I was definitely feeling myself. I was having a great day.
Okay.
For sure, and we turned that corner. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, be aware when you go to fucking the Film Museum, man. That shit springs up on you so fucking fast. And you gotta go through that shit. I remember, and then like I thought about it, I was like, damn, I remember this shit as a kid because I was scared as a motherfucker. Super, super terrified of that shit. Like crying and shit, was not trying to go through that bitch.
Was that there when we were kids though? Or is that something that's
1,000%. No, it was, because now it like...
Because I don't even remember ever like going that way.
Yeah,
the only thing, honestly, that I remember from the Field Museum, because I remember...
T-Rex.
No, dude. I got to spend the night at the Field Museum with Cub Scouts. Same thing over at the Shed Aquarium, and they shut the whole museum down, so we got to do it like an all-nighter thing.
That's fire.
And the only thing that I remember is like those two man-eating lions.
Oh, that's
you know what I'm talking about? That killed all those people, and then they supposedly killed them, stuffed them, threw them in the museum.
Yeah, because and then there's a
and the gorilla. Egyptian stuff too.
There's a gorilla in there, ain't it?
Maybe.
It's a gorilla.
Like I said, it's been a while. It's been a while, but I don't remember walking through
Africa?
No.
Yo, you know what? They probably did that shit on motherfucking purpose, bro. Because that shit was... As a kid, bro, I was scared of that shit, bro.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. It sounds like you had a great time.
Great time.
Got to spend some time with your mom.
Of course.
And then, took a trip through history.
Always. That was cool, I guess.
Hey, man. I feel like you can take some positive from it, even though that was bullshit. That's a humbling experience.
You know what? It was like, honestly, it was just crazy because the shit springs up on you out of fucking nowhere. Like, there is no warning for this shit.
But you could take it around.
I guess, but that's not how you fucking do an exhibit. You know how you walk through that bitch. It's out of nowhere. Like, you literally just kicking it. You having a good time in the Sahara and shit. And then slave ship. That fast. It's like, fuck.
So, yeah, pre-warning. Anybody going to the Field Museum? Don't go down...
Don't go to Africa, man.
Don't go to Africa.
Fuck that.
Like Epcot, man.
Yo, Epcot sounds like hella trash, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
nothing's really in Epcot unless you're like an adult and you're going around and you're eating different foods from the world. I mean, it's not a place for kids.
Bro, I remember we were the last time I went to Disney, and we were all deciding where we wanted to go, and like I think it was my dad asked like, did anybody want to go to Epcot, and we all just looked at his ass like he was goofy. We were just like, huh? Epcot? No, I'm cool. We could. He's like, hey, I'm just asking. I just want to make sure we get what you want to do. Like,
part of the parks.
He's like, Epcot. Like,
part of the experience. I think the only rides there that are actually worth going to is Trip to Mars. Then there's a rocket ride.
Okay.
It's an Aerosmith ride that goes like 0 to 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour in a couple seconds. And then the Trip to Mars is obviously like the G-force stuff, so it spins you super, super fast, and it really feels like you're on a trip to the space. And then there's like one other one that's like this car testing place where they put you in a car and you go through all these tests that they do for cars, and they kind of like put you through that experience on the ride. And I guess those are fun, but I mean, literally that's it.
All right, I got a quick story, and then we'll get into some serious shit.
Okay.
But this is about fucking Island of Adventure. So at Island of Adventure, like one of the best rides there is this Hawk ride. And it's like Hawk's Rage or some shit.
My dad literally put a hat on me for that ride, bro, because I was too small to get on that ride, then held me the whole time because he knew I was going to fall off the seat. Shout out my dad.
So, as you know, when that ride starts off, that shit don't, like, in most roller coasters, you get on that motherfucker, you just, it's a slow build, and then boom. This shit don't do that. You go up a chute, and it damn near hits top speed as soon as it motherfucking starts. My dumbass didn't know that. So I'm 16 years old, and the only thing at that point that was most important to me was talking to girls. And there was this baddie next to me. And I'm like, yo, what's good? What's up? Like, how you doing? What are you here from? Are you a tourist? Blah, blah, blah. So I get to, like, the second question, and it's, we're starting to take off. And as soon as we take off, I just start screaming, just, like, to the top of my lungs. Because, like, I didn't expect that. And I'm just, just hitting it, going crazy.
Damn, bro.
Shorty's just, like, looking at me.
Sounding like Mario, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Shorty's just, like, looking at me. Like, she's kind of, like, enjoying the ride, but she's just looking at me. And then we just get down, and she's like, wow, you have a really high range on your voice. And I was just like, damn.
Why were you screaming like that, bro?
Bro, I didn't expect it.
I know, but
I'm a scream. I scream on rides.
You're a screamer?
Oh, 1,000%.
Just on rides?
Oh,
bro?
not just on rides. Hey, man.
In all everyday experiences, you're just a screamer.
Hey, if something is enjoyable, motherfucker, I'm gonna let everybody that is around in the hearing vicinity that thing is enjoyable. 1,000%.
Just breaking glasses.
Oh, buddy. Hey, That's why, certain activities, if I know I have to go to the studio and sing, I just don't engage in because I know that's going to fuck my voice up. 1,000%. You can't stop and be like, can I get a drink of water while you're doing some activities? You can't stop and just say, hey, I need some water. I need a water break. That's not how that works.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't envy you for that shit for sure. I mean, this voice has been this deep since 7th grade, bro.
Yeah, it has. You know what? Yeah, that's the only reason why you were cool when we were kids.
Wow, dude. Really? That was the only reason I was cool?
The deep voice.
No, man, it was actually a struggle, I'm not going to lie, because I would, quick backstory on my deep voice. I would call girls, man, in middle school, and I'd have their dads jump on the phone acting like I was some 40-year-old dude, man. And I'm sitting there scared shitless because I'm this little fat kid, bro. You know what I mean? Not expecting somebody to jump on the phone while I'm trying to J down with their daughter. What the fuck? But yeah, man, we got a special guest coming in today.
Yeah.
This is a special interview. A personal friend of mine, personal friend of ours.
Yeah.
Named Mike Hackett, and I'm pretty sure he's here. Is he here?
Is he here?
Oh, yeah. Guess is here.
Oh, bet it up. Thanks, Aiden. I appreciate you.
Oh, damn. What's up, fam?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Boy,
good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm blessed to be here.
Of course, man. Of course. How are you doing, man?
Dude, I'm blessed. Like I said, man. Just taking a bike ride. It's springtime. Just feeling it. Taking it easy. It's an easy Sunday.
Right. How'd your week go? You were telling me that you had a pretty good week this week.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I work 7 days a week, so.
Okay.
I drive this truck. I'm running this trunking company. It's my first year. It was actually my best week last week, so my profit was greater than my overhead. So I ran up 3 bands last week, so not bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nice.
It's a lot of work, but
Nice.
it's worth it.
Awesome,
Absolutely.
man. Awesome. Well, I mean, I think we just kind of jump right in, man. You wanna tell us a little bit about yourself?
Let's do it. Yeah. Again, my name's Mike. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, originally.
Okay.
36, Garden City, to be exact. That's where I was born. That's where all my family's from. I've been in Illinois since '07. So I worked for Brunswick Bowling and Billiards until 2012.
Nice.
Went off. My life took a totally different direction. Now I got this business, Take Two Transport. Shout out to Jane Pipia out in Brookfield, Wisconsin. She made this shirt and sent it to me.
Nice. Shout out.
Yeah,
Shout out.
yeah.
Shout out. Yeah.
So that was great. I delivered an embroidery machine to her, so she was grateful for it. And she sent me this shirt. So I appreciate you, Jane.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go
real
ahead.
Quick. So like, how hard would you say it is to start your own business? Because I know a lot of people say like sometimes in that first year is when you feel the most like opposition towards it. It's really tough. So, how hard was that, and like, what were the steps that you kind of took to be successful on your own business?
That's a great question. And something you said is complete truth. The easy part is getting it started. That's the easy part. Getting up every day like the rents do, that's the hard part,
Right.
So
Right.
staying motivated, dealing with these obstacles that you know are going to come. It depends. What you do in those hard times. That's what it's a make or break thing. There's a lot of risk on the table. You got to be all in. So that's my attitude towards it.
Definitely. Yeah, it's I definitely can feel that. How did we just finished COVID, kind of just disappeared. How did that affect
It really did. Being in the trucking industry, it was a big thing because truckers weren't mandated to get vaccines.
Right.
We're essential workers, so COVID did not shut us down. There's a gold rush in trucking. CDL drivers just make a killing. And the only thing with the trucking industry is it's so overregulated that government has their hands in your pockets at all times.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need any probable cause to pull you over. These DOT officers, they can shake you down, no problem. So,
Well, at least the business thrived from that. I mean, you started at a pretty tough time.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you
That's
did,
true.
Without thinking about it.
And it was the right move at the right time without thinking about it. Something just led me down that path, and not something, someone actually led me down that path. And big shout out to Trucker Tone for that. So
Yeah, shout out Trucker Tone, man.
definitely, and it's just been such a huge learning curve. There's so much to it. This isn't my first business, but this is my first trucking business, and it's pretty serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just kind of had a couple basics. What are some things that you like to do, man? What are your hobbies, bro?
I've been golfing since I was, a teenager. I've been bowling since I was about 10.
Oh wow. Okay.
I had a red black belt by the time I was 11 years old, 12 years old. So I did taekwondo when I was young. Got into bowling, golf, motorcycles. I love any sport, really. I'm a just competitive person by nature. So
I feel that.
whatever it is, cards, it doesn't matter. I'm shooting dice. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's me against you.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. 1000%.
That's dope.
But yeah, that's what I like to do now. I like to read. I listen to a lot of Audible. So, books on tape, books on CD, just books in general. I listen to a lot of lecture and philosophy and just positive vibration stuff, trying to expand my awareness and just be an overall positive influence on people, that I come in contact with. So
I get it. I definitely get it. I kind of veering off to the side here. Don't want to grill you too much off the bat.
do it.
So what going on with Kanye and Pete. Should we talk about that a little bit? Should we?
I think we should.
Should we expound on that a
Skeet.
little bit? Skeet.
On Skeet and Kanye.
So, if you don't know what's going on, and this is kind of the conversation behind it, and I just want to get your opinion on it, and I'm going to ask a lot of people for their opinion on it because I think this is important. So, you want to give a little backstory on it? You know just as much.
Of course. No. So I mean, the whole Pete Davidson Kanye thing. We know Kanye and Kim, divorce and everything like that. But obviously she goes and gets with the guy with Pete Davidson, right? And no problem, you're divorced, you deserve to be whoever you want to be. But then there came out something on social media that said Pete Davidson had texted Kanye and was saying like a lot of crazy stuff. Actually, like I want to actually pull this up so I can kind of read exactly it is what he said. So we're not, but it wasn't cool in my opinion.
Bottom line, I mean, obviously, while you're pulling that up, he, Pete Davidson stood a really good ground, not saying anything. I mean, yeah, he's a comedian, things are supposed to be funny and stuff like that, but bringing somebody's family into the matter is a whole different situation.
So this is the conversation. So Pete says to yo, it's Skeet. Can you please take a second and calm down? It's 8 a.m. and it don't gotta be like this. Kim is literally the best mother I've ever met. What she does for those kids is amazing. You're so fucking lucky that she's your kid's mom. I decided I'm not gonna let you treat us this way anymore, and I'm done being quiet. Grow the fuck up. So Kanye says, oh, you using profanity? Where are you right now? And he says, in bed with your wife, and takes a picture of it and sends it to him. And so then he said, basically, this isn't public, dude. I'm not here for pictures and press, which is obviously all you care about. My offer still stands. I wish you'd man up for once in your life. And he was basically asking him to come to come and meet face to face, Kanye and Pete. And my whole thing was like, you can't once you bring somebody's kids into this, you have no right to speak on that. You're fucking Kim Kardashian, and that's cool. But in any situation, when you come and say anything about my kids and even mention my kids, it's a problem for me.
Oh, it turns into a completely different thing.
Because now it's like, what the fuck? You have no right to say shit about my kids, about my parenting style, about anything about that. Because when it comes to me and my wife, basically, or my ex, the mother of my children, that's between us. Nobody ever has anything to say about that. I don't care who you fucking. I don't care. That's not cool, So that's where, because to me, he looked good in this whole thing when he was just shutting the fuck up. Because there's nothing for you to say. You're not nothing but the fucking rebound dude.
Right.
So play your role. Like all of the women Kanye was fucking with, what they do, they played their role. They fucking be with him, and they don't say shit about Kim Kardashian because it's none of their business, and it's cool. And they even the first girl, they not fucking with each other anymore. But she said I fuck with Kim Kardashian. Whatever he said, that don't got shit to do with me. Mm-hmm. So I just think that's messed up.
How do you feel about it, bro?
Well, it's none of his business,
right?
Quite frankly, that's my opinion on it. If he wants to be banging Kim, then more power to you. Hey, you're in a position many people want to be in, and Kanye should just keep doing him. That's it.
Right.
What else can anyone do other than just keep doing what they know to be true?
Exactly.
Do to be be right, and not affect someone else's kids or bring in any other family members, making it more personal. Amping it. That's how people get hurt, really.
Absolutely.
I think that is really the discussion. I mean, not even reflecting on how Kanye's been acting the last several years and how unstable he might be. When you start coming into bringing kids into the matter, I think that is it's a very tricky subject. And how are you affecting these kids at this point? I mean, sincerely, is this just a publicity stunt on both ends? Or is this something that's actually affecting these kids? I mean, Kim Kardashian has already stated that she's publicized them on TikTok. Kanye's had a problem with that, and
as he should,
as
in my opinion.
Right, and that's my opinion too. As a father, I would not expose my daughter on TikTok, especially with everything that it stands for.
And especially because it's because of whose kids you are. Like I've seen like some of the screenshots of her on TikTok, and people being like, "Go get your mommy's credit card. Hey North, do you know what Cash App is? You want to play that game with us? We're broke. Can you wire somebody some money?" Like, what? She's a little girl. Like, what the fuck? And I can understand why nobody would want to put their kids in that position. Truthfully, if I'm a famous person, I am going to try everything I can to make sure that my kids are not exposed to the media as much as I possibly can, and protect them from that as much as I possibly can until they're old enough and that's 18, when they're old enough to actually, okay, make a decision. I want to make this off of my father's name. I want to be famous because of that. If that's what they want to do, then at that point you can make that decision. You're a grown adult. But before then, I wouldn't put you in that position to make money off you, because I just think that's messed up. And I think children should be given the opportunity to be children and grow up and be a kid and have fun. Like, you know, my mom used to always say, like, "Oh, this is a grown person's problem. You stay out of grown people's business and stuff." And I just feel like certain things like social media is just for people who have the cognitive reasoning to be able to really navigate what's real and what's fake. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is.
And like, even if like teenagers, yeah, I think at some point you should be allowed to be on social media. But I think as parents, you have to strictly monitor that. That goes back into
discretion, bro.
You know?
And I think it's the motivation, why you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting needs met through social media when all we show is what we want to be seen? Right. I mean, it's completely phony.
Right.
It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, that goes back to what Aaron was saying about how people just post things on social media just to impress other people.
That's exactly it.
I don't know what.
Same point. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. I totally get that, man. I totally get that. And like I was saying, I think the real discussion is how are these kids being affected? And like I said,
it's exploitative.
Right.
It's irresponsible.
Unless this is something that's obviously fake from both sides. I mean, what is happening to these kids in this matter? I mean, nobody's really going to know. And I'm sure these kids have gone through enough already.
Right.
I mean, I'm not even going to get into that, but with everything that's gone in their family, and then now with the divorce, you know what I mean? I'm sure these being the
child of a superstar, like
right.
how much, what kind of
TV.
Experience is that? Right. Oh my goodness!
I mean, yeah, reality TV, all that. It's
in the public eye from day one.
That would have to be a very hard life, very very hard life. That's why, like, as much as if I was in that position, as much as I could, I would just try to protect my kid, because that's a hard way to grow up. That's a hard way to grow up. And you look at all the child stars that we know of. You know, a lot of them, they, as an adult, it was really hard for them to adjust. It was.
And like, some don't make it.
Some don't make it. Some get really eaten alive by fucking Hollywood and drugs and alcohol, partying, whatever.
The whole Disney Channel bullshit.
How many?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
many people. There's not really a lot of success stories from those child stars from Disney. So it's just like that's a lot to put on a kid.
It is.
It's a lot to
exactly
put.
Right.
Fuck that. It's a lot to put on an adult. How many adults who are superstars are battling with depression and anxiety because of just being in that spotlight? So imagine that with somebody who doesn't have the cognitive reasoning to really like be in a healthy way deal with what they're feeling. They don't know. As a kid, all your emotions is everywhere. Everything is emotions. That's all you know. That's how you react to every situation. So now you are a superstar, and you know, Lord knows, you know, something that you come out with doesn't go good, and then people start shitting on you. Well, then do you know, what if they can't take that? What if that, you know, really fucks with their psyche to the point where they really can't function anymore?
That's
true.
But if they try to find their value through those social media things, or this validation in a phony place, then it's all a false concept. Right. From the ground up.
A false concept of reality. It's unfortunate.
Definitely is. Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on that. I know you and I have some good talks, and
of course,
and I respect your opinion.
Likewise.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Not a lot of people do.
ISO is finally home. 30,000 feet up green, taken to the dome.
Bro, you're such a bum, bro. Oh my god, you fucking poser, bro. Jeez.
Nobody's a poser, bro.
Oh, okay. You want to step on my jokes? That's cool. That's cool. I'm not the comedian here.
Hey, obviously you're not the fucking comedian here.
Wow.
I mean, clearly, bro.
I got you.
Nobody had to spot that one.
Bet. You know what? We're definitely going. We're gonna have to have a.
That's alright, bro. I'm on that with you.
Oh, it's cool. We can
Fuck
box.
Shots fired.
We can box.
Nah, bro.
All right.
It's alright, man. Maybe later. Maybe later.
Bet it up.
After, I don't do things for the camera. I'm not a whore like you.
Oh, we got to do it for the camera, buddy.
No, I don't do shit for the
Oh.
camera. Unless I do something for my homie and then he tells me on my podcast, like, oh, bro, remember that time you did that for me? I'm like, yeah, I just did that so you would make me look good on the podcast.
No, it's all good, buddy.
No, it's all good,
You
bro.
have to put it on camera, bro, because then when I kick your ass, you're going to be like, oh, that didn't happen.
Nah, bro.
It wasn't that bad.
It's okay, bro.
It's all good.
It's one of those situations, bro. I hate getting into altercations, especially with you.
Right.
I just become an asshole immediately. The last time someone said they were going to beat my ass, I said, I'm sorry, my name is Blake, not Dick, because we both know that's the only thing that you beat.
See, I'm not a fucking comedian.
Clearly.
Yeah, mister, I got material and shit. Okay, I see you, buddy. I see you.
Always come prepared.
Oh,
But yeah, Mike, let's branch off because clearly this is not going anywhere. Let's branch off. A question that came to mind was just reflecting on the Kanye situation one last time. Because you guys are both, and sure, Pete Davidson too, because you guys are both entrepreneurs, does that affect your perspective on what's going on? I mean, the hustle is the hustle.
And I respect that part of it.
Right.
The other part of it, the celebrity part,
Just, playing devil's advocate.
hey, I wouldn't really know. I just have an opinion like anyone else.
Right.
And it wouldn't really matter because I don't have any personal experience with it. So
Right.
I'd just be talking on my ass at that point.
So,
So, I don't really dedicate that much energy to those things that I can't control or that are outside my influence. So,
I feel that.
I love how you put that. Absolutely.
I have to stay focused on me.
Absolutely.
I was listening to something earlier and it resonated. The greatest form of mastery is that over yourself. So, man, I just stopped talking, stopped thinking. That hit me.
Self-love, self-care.
Yeah,
body's the temple.
self-mastery,
As much as
absolutely.
people want to make fun of that statement.
It may sound cliche and trendy and all these things, but there's an element of truth to it.
Absolutely.
Big time.
I get that. Another question I had for you.
But I wish them the best with that whole situation and it all works out the best, peacefully.
It's probably going to not end peacefully, especially with all these with the music videos that Kanye's been dropping. I mean, I don't think Pete's gonna do anything, but if he keeps going, who knows?
Yeah, man. These people, we're talking about multi-millionaires, billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
They have way too much to fucking lose to
Right.
make this actually.
But how many times though, sincerely, how many times has millionaires, maybe not billionaires because now we're pushing it, but millionaire rappers and stuff like that have actually done something about it?
Usually it's more of the small time guys.
Yeah.
Once you're a guy like a Kanye, okay, for example, right? When Kanye and Drake were beefing, Drake was dropping "Crept Up the Block," talking about how he was gonna pull up at Kanye's house and all this tough Tony shit, and they weren't gonna do a damn thing because Drake wants to hit $1 billion, and Kanye maybe at that time wasn't a billionaire, but was damn near close to it. So we can talk all we want to do. I can make songs and make all my little references and be outside in a hoodie and act like I'm going to do some shit. That's all for the cameras. Because really, people were fucking so interested when Drake and Kanye were beefing. Now that they're friends, it's like, okay, whatever. But when they were beefing, everybody was taking sides and shit. And guess what? That probably put a little bit extra money in their pockets.
Of course it did.
So
that's all it is.
it's like this is
It's a money grab.
all this shit is Hollywood. It's all damn near. If it ain't staged, it's people who are just talking out of their ass, and they're not gonna do a damn thing because what do they have to gain? So let's say Kanye gets physical with Pete Davidson. What does he gain from that? Some niggas from the hood are just gonna be like, oh, he's
Bing
so. he is so hard. Yeah, we give you respect. Who cares what they think?
Right. No, I get it.
Who cares? So at the same time, like, once you're in that bracket, it's way too much to lose to even be entertaining that in a real way. You use it to make you some extra money.
And that's just what it becomes, entertainment.
And you just entertain people. You act real tough and do the hoodie videos and
Right.
with your homies and, you
But
know,
dude's nickname's
look hard.
Loverboy and he's got a heart in his head. So it doesn't, I don't know.
Exactly. We know Mans is not going to do nothing, but guess what? He makes great music and
Absolutely
keep doing that. And it's cool to make, you know, some of your fans believe you're going to do something when you're on Instagram Live. And you may have had a few shots of Henny, you know, and a couple of blunts, and you feeling yourself. As you should. You're making a lot of money, but everybody knows it's fake, you know?
I get it.
I hope so.
Yeah, for the kids' sake, right?
I hope so.
I get it.
They just signed a deal with Hulu. With Disney, Hulu.
Who?
The
did?
Kardashians.
Oh, wow.
So
I don't think...
Yeah.
Just for
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
Is on Hulu?
I think
I don't think it's on Disney.
No, well, you know, Disney owns Hulu, so it doesn't really matter.
I did not know that. This is new information to me.
Disney owns Hulu. Disney owns ESPN.
I thought Disney. Well, I didn't realize.
ABC.
Well, then why did they have their own platform then?
Because
You know what I'm saying?
it's more money, bro. Like you have to pay the $4.99 for this and the $7.99.
But that's what I'm saying.
That.
So if they have Hulu Plus TV and they have Disney
ESPN Plus.
Fuck ESPN. I'm saying if they have Hulu Plus TV, they have Hulu, just regular Hulu, and then they have Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no matter what, if you just subjected that and you put Disney Plus into Hulu, you would still have to pay more money. I'm saying, why did they make it separate platforms at that point when you would still have to pay more money no matter what?
Because, if you think about it like this, right? So they didn't always own Hulu. They bought Hulu.
Recently.
So it's not. I don't know how recent it is, but they bought. It's been a few years for sure. But with Hulu, if you look at it, okay, I own Hulu. It already had its own brand. It already had people subscribing to it. People who only want Hulu. Just because they have already been paying for the subscription and used to all the stuff that we've been putting on the subscription. So we're going to keep Hulu. And also some of the edgier things that we might not want to put on our Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is supposed to be family. You know, that's kind of how they bring it out to people. So it will make sense.
May 2019.
Yeah.
So I'm 2 years late.
So yeah, it's not. So it hasn't even been that long. So of course they were already their own thing.
Right.
You're making money off that. It makes sense to just keep it as its own thing. And I mean, they do have a little bundle. You could get the bundle it up. And you get ESPN Plus and Hulu and Disney.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
But no, it's more money.
No, I realize that, but I'm saying that you would still have to pay more money on the same streaming site.
Right.
You have to pay more money for Hulu Plus, for Hulu TV.
Right.
You have to pay more money for Hulu, for channels on there.
True.
Those are package deals that you have to pay more money for.
Right.
So why would you make a completely, unless it was just kid oriented, but still with all the parental locks that you can do on these streaming sites, I don't think it really mattered that they put it on a different streaming site. That's what I'm saying. Disney wants, because they have, obviously Disney bought Marvel.
Right.
They have a bunch of Marvel stuff on there, and then with Marvel, I mean
it's still PG-13, I think.
Yeah, but some of it's pretty adult humor like. Yeah, it's not just for kids.
It's still PG-13.
All right.
No, that's all I'm saying.
I got you. No, I understand.
That's the only reason why. I think there may be something that's R-rated on Disney Plus. I don't really remember, but there might be R-rated stuff. I just think more of it is this is already a brand that's making money, so let's not mess with it.
I understand.
So, and then also there's certain stuff that you would put on a streaming site that you may not want to associate with Disney. You might not want to put Freddy versus Jason on Disney Plus, right?
Is that on Hulu? Or
But it was on Hulu at a point in time.
Was it?
It was on Hulu. I watched it on Hulu before. So I'm saying or Vice, you might not want to put your stuff from Vice because Vice puts all their stuff on Hulu.
Right.
I mean on Hulu. So maybe I don't want some people smoking pot on my Disney Plus because my name Disney is attached to it.
I understand.
You know what I mean? So
I understand.
Yeah. That would make more sense to me, to be honest.
I got you.
Disney. You guys remember those subliminals they put in those old movies? You ever see that shit?
Crazy.
if you really want to break it down, you want to talk about Disney for a second? Disney is literally based on a lie. I don't know who had to say it, but Disney's based on a lie. Walt Disney stole all these old, like, Little Mermaid, Cinderella, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah,
All these were drama and borderline horror films. They were made in.
Well, they weren't even films at the time.
Well, right, not even films.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just reenactments. So I mean, they were literally based off of like Roman Catholic times, where people were literally on stage performing these Disney movies, and then they were rewritten in a child's way. And then, of course, like you were stating too, how many little Easter eggs you would find in these movies, and it's ridiculous because I never noticed any of that shit when I was a kid.
Me either.
And on top of that too, they're very progressive with it. There's a show out right now. I don't know the exact name, but I can find the exact name. But the premise of the show, not show, but movie, is that this little girl hits puberty, and she turns into this big red fox. Mm-hmm. And apparently there's a bunch of adult humor, and no, I'm serious.
This is a Disney movie?
This is a Disney movie, and it's for kids, or it's a show, or it's one of the two,
right.
But it's Disney produced it, and they're attracting younger kids with this show or movie, and I mean there's complete adult humor in it, and a lot of the stuff nowadays that you see with that Disney's making, I wouldn't let my fucking daughter watch.
Right.
I mean, you want to go back to like old Pixar times and stuff like that. Okay, cool, because my daughter is not going to understand just like I didn't. But if you want to start talking about the newer stuff, I mean, come on now. Dude, there's so much adult humor in there. So much adult humor.
Sometimes, actually, if you watch it with your kids, because like I was watching, I was with like one of my cousins, and she's about 6, and we watched The Incredibles. The Incredibles.
That's Pixar, right?
That's Disney Pixar. It's both.
Yeah. Right.
So we were watching it, and she wasn't even really that interested. I'm sitting there enjoying it because it's like, honestly, felt like it was more for me, geared to me, my age group, than it was for her. And I was actually, she's just kind of like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like some of the stuff you can tell is like almost geared towards almost an older audience.
I think they're losing sight though, because they're trying to reach a different demographic. I mean, somebody has to bring these kids to these movies, and they probably took that into consideration and was like, oh, well, if parents are bringing these kids to watch these movies, then we have to put more adult humor in there. But at that point, I mean, where's the discretion?
What are you exposing the kids to at that point?
Right, just to try to attract another demographic.
Yeah,
that's a fine line.
I mean, it all goes back to, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. Like, hey.
I know, but
that's what it comes down to.
When you have a kid, Aaron, you'll get it.
Oh, no, I understand. Well,
no, you will. You will.
Man, I don't know about that.
When you have a kid, you'll sit down and you'll reflect on it, and you'll be like, you know what? I definitely have to watch what I'm saying. I have to watch what my child's doing. Maybe not be all God's eye, you know what I mean? But I mean, I really, with everything, what we were just talking about last episode,
yeah,
right? I mean, discretion. And not only that, I mean, with that being said, I mean, you can't just, when we were kids, you can't just go to, we just went to the store because all there was nudie magazines. We didn't just look up porn. Stuff like that. Stuff wasn't just all over the internet where stuff just popped up,
because
you know what I mean, in your windows.
If you tried to look up porn on them old school computers, you would be like frying it.
Yeah. Sure. You would give it every virus, and your parents would find out. And they're finding out
immediately that you fucked up the computer.
Yeah. You're on some dial-up modem, making all kinds of.
They make a call and shit.
Like,
they make
really?
a call and shit.
It takes forever to download one JPEG or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Keeping that shit. It took me a week to download.
Oh,
that's the truth.
Shit. That is insane.
And it wasn't that long ago. And it wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
You know what?
In the last 20 years.
It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't even that long ago where we had just a flip phone. Like, I remember having a Razr.
Yeah.
Like, and then that was dead super fast, and everybody had like a touchscreen phone, and then there was all like the booty touchscreen, the
first touchscreen that came out was the Androids, right?
It was
before they even came out with the iPhones.
Trash. People would rather have a BlackBerry than the.
That's what I.
Or the
it's a
Trio.
BlackBerry.
Remember the Trio? It's just like the BlackBerry, but it literally had the whole keypad and the little antenna.
You remember the little?
Oh yeah,
phone?
yeah,
Yeah. The BlackBerries didn't have that. They were cool. They were smooth.
yeah. They were
The BlackBerry, you could put it in the palm, and then you got that little
the
ball.
little track.
And
Yeah.
you just, BlackBerry is decent.
All right.
And then
Go ahead,
got blessed with the iPhone.
Yeah, the iPhone.
No, the first iPhone was trash, and I'm standing on that. The first iPhone was.
Well, they started coming out
trash.
with
The first,
the
like, two.
iPods before they even started
iPod
coming out with the
Touches was
iPhone.
raw.
And no, not even the iPod Touch, bro. The iPod Nano. iPod Nano, and then
iPod
they came out with a little
Shuffle.
bigger one, and then the iPod Shuffle, and then there was a larger one that held 32 gigs when that was like the most that you could hold back in the day without getting like a big memory, like outside memory drive, like a terabyte.
That's insane. That's terrible. Then LimeWire.
Yeah, LimeWire that gave you every virus, but you could download any kind of thing that you wanted.
Song
And Pirate
you
Bay.
wanted. Oh my god.
Pirate Bay for movies.
Napster.
I'm sorry,
Napster,
Grandma.
the
I
OG.
apologize that I fucked up your computer because I definitely fucked your shit up, and I tried to blame it on everybody else. But it was me downloading hella songs off LimeWire and shit. Then I got the
Now
whole
we know.
family doing it. Shit,
Now
you
we know.
smelled. You started smelling the computer and shit. You're like something's
Something's
burning.
burning.
What the fuck? Terrible.
Before we venture off too far, I had a couple things that I want to talk about
Okay.
with you, Mike, and ask.
What's up?
So in your journey, man, what makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
My old self, in the way that I want to move further and further away from that person who I was, shed that old skin, make something new today, be a little bit better, have a new edge, just keep learning, keep growing. That's what really motivates me. Get further away from my old self,
I feel that.
Definitely.
James.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I definitely, I definitely touch on that a little bit because I definitely understand everything you're saying in that. I personally I cannot live stagnant. As soon as I start feeling comfortable,
Great word. That's it.
I have to become uncomfortable in order to grow.
It's the
again,
only way.
So I definitely feel that shedding your skin and in your old self being the better foot forward because you want to run away from the person that you used to be in a sense because you always want to grow.
Right. I mean, why? Everybody's done things that made them feel weak in the past, but, everybody has a chance to grow from that. Or not.
Absolutely.
So it's totally up to us how we handle these, these obstacles and challenges and failures. Those are important for me to remember those failures. One, so I don't do it again, but, two, to just remind myself that I can come back from just about anything.
Absolutely. No, I want to just touch on the comfortable point, being uncomfortable. I remember, I think it was Dana White, and he was saying that it's harder to get up out of a satin bed and out of your nice pajamas and your mansion and go grind and go get ready to go fight and get your ass kicked by somebody than it is to sit there and when the going's tough, when it's hard,
When you're hungry,
the
fridge is empty. You're walking.
Exactly. That's when it's easier to get up and want to go,
Of course.
fight. So I can completely agree. Like, you don't grow unless you're uncomfortable. Truthfully, that's just how it goes. Every time you take that extra step, it's really because you took yourself out of your comfort zone and really, progressed, step forward, took a leap of faith, and said, whatever happens, happens.
I think the beauty
Absolutely.
of nowadays is that, like I've mentioned before, vulnerability is literally
That's key for me.
key. But nowadays, vulnerability is something that is commended. I don't think that people are looked at like they used to of being vulnerable in situations as weak anymore. This is a strength more than anything. And as soon as you're able to become vulnerable with not only yourself, but, with people that
Other
you care
people.
about, that is probably one of the biggest strengths that you can have.
Man, it leads to such great connection.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's authentic, and who can't relate to someone else's problems in some way,
Right.
or someone else's challenges? I mean, we're all the same race, the human race, right?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
fuck.
I mean, man, I mean, I remember you and I talking about stories and stuff like that, and before you got a car, man, you were riding your bike everywhere.
Absolutely.
Everywhere from Fox Lake to Gurnee and so forth.
And then back.
That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Hey, that's just how you gotta want it. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely.
I don't remember how it goes, but without without a why you can survive anyhow, or it was something like that.
Okay.
So you have to have purpose was it, and then all the circumstances in between that will move out of your way. Once you have that clear, defined goal, and you move forward with a whole heart, there's no stopping you.
Manifest your reality.
Absolutely. But it's convincing myself, and that took a long time to do.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit here and convince everybody else, but convincing yourself is what's going to produce change.
That's where it's really at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another question I have for you, man. If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Wow. I would tell that kid that I love him, and that it's not a mistake to know his power, accept his greatness, and go forward. Stop following other people. Stop making excuses.
Absolutely.
Own your shit. Put burdens where they belong. Don't take on it any other's responsibilities either as your own. That would be the biggest thing.
This is why I'm asking you these questions, bro, because that message reflects to, I believe, 99% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you realize that. You telling your 18-year-old self that would be the same as I feel like anybody would tell their 18-year-old self.
I hope so.
Especially since we live in this shame-based society already.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
That you're not a mistake.
Right.
You're
worth it. You are worthy of the greatness and the abundance in this world. Don't let anybody tell you you're not, no matter where you're from or who you are.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, you're worth as much as you feel nowadays.
That's
Absolutely.
the truth. That's the truth. And that goes back to what we were just talking about, convincing myself that I'm worth it. That's where it starts.
Absolutely.
Waking up every day, reminding myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's important for me to stay on track.
That's amazing. Truly. You got something to add to that?
Oh no, man! You guys said it perfectly. You are worth it. And truly making yourself believe that is the hardest part. But once you get to that part, whatever obstacle you got coming your way, you're able to really fight through that. Because in your head, you've already convinced yourself, I'm worth it, I know my worth, and I know my power, And I just wish, that is what I would want to tell my 18-year-old self, and what I would just want to tell, the youth of the world. Tell everybody, not even the youth. It doesn't matter how old you are, really. If you got breath, then you have the most important currency, which is your energy, and you have time. And time is not guaranteed. You only have a limited amount. Fortunately, you don't know how much time we got. So, today.
That's right.
It's about today, truthfully. Don't take for granted the time that you're given. 1000%.
I get it. Definitely. Something that I wanted to add to that too is, trauma is confusion times time. And if you're unable to deal with something like that, like I was saying, being vulnerable, not only in that moment, but with yourself in life, then you're going to hold on to that burden, like Mike was saying, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of what holds people back nowadays, is being confused about what happens in their life. Absolutely. And you just have to learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Love who you are, love what you do, and become a better you.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Everyone has good inside them.
Everybody does. I don't believe I don't believe some of the baddest people that have been, euthanized in the judicial system didn't have good in them at one point.
Yeah.
I think that is, again, like I said, there was a traumatizing experience. They were confused by it, and they weren't able to deal with it. So I just wanted
That's
to.
it. It's maladaptive coping, whatever it was.
And those were the times, man. And we touch on that. Those were the times. And especially for people like around our age, we definitely can't beat ourselves up because those are the times that we lived in. I mean, and it all depends where you grew up too. Even though being vulnerable was weakness and that's universal, but I mean, if you were in the city, if you were in the suburbs, I mean, depending around the demographic of people that you were hanging around, I mean, that could get you killed. Sincerely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But now it's 2022 and people have to start letting go of those burdens, man.
Absolutely.
Well, I really think there's a consciousness expansion happening. The
Absolutely.
last 2 years really changed everybody's perception of reality, I think, and what's really important.
Absolutely.
It made me question what's really important.
Well,
that's for sure.
COVID brought us together.
It did.
In a
And took
sense.
us apart.
And took us apart, correct. It was a 50-50.
But it's like, my goodness, how many couples found out that they didn't really love the person that they had married?
Right.
Yeah.
Or they really do.
Right.
Or they were really
Absolutely.
grateful to have this person. And, I think that really affected it affected the entire world.
No doubt about it. I mean,
It did bring us all together
it brought us all together.
in that way.
It did.
It did.
I mean,
the entire world.
And like you said, it brought us apart too because now we're at the point where when they came out with the vaccination, you got people spitting at you, you're not vaccinated, you're the reason why you killed grandma.
It's more division.
Right,
More
right.
more driving us apart.
And antisocial, definitely. I think a lot of people are antisocial now because of it.
They hide
Especially
behind the
kids.
masks. I noticed that. People are more
Especially
comfortable
kids.
with the mask on.
Yeah.
Still, to this day.
Oh, yeah.
And the mask
They use
mandate
it.
is up.
They use it.
Sorry, Aaron. What were you going to
No, I
say?
was just saying, especially the kids that like kind of their whole
Yeah, my daughter,
developmental
man.
stage was like under COVID.
Absolutely.
Like it's weird because like I'm sure it's weird for them to try and go and interact with other kids now. Like especially if you're like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Like especially those because when you go to kindergarten, a lot of kids that's their first time really being around other children their age and interacting, and that shit is so important
Oh, yeah.
for how you start to grow and your social skills as you grow
Your
as
development,
to an
absolutely.
adult. So just having that cut out,
Oof.
I know that could have been really, really crazy and maybe be detrimental in this
Sure.
next generation. So
Sure.
we'll see.
Speaking of the next generation, it's probably going to be a COVID generation, or COVID babies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a generation, I bet you.
Definitely. And one of the craziest things that I'll leave off with on that note is that, like I said, my daughter, she's going to be 3 in August, so her whole life has been circled around wearing a mask and COVID and wearing a mask in daycare, and then even have to wear a mask when we went on a flight somewhere or anything like that. And it's crazy because now I can't get this kid to take the damn mask off. She loves this fucking mask. I'm like, Sadie, we're home. There's no reason to be wearing a mask. And she thinks it's playtime. And she's not a doctor. It's just, this is what we do now. Everybody wears a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And it just blows my mind. Because obviously she doesn't know the difference, but...
Right. Wasn't always like that.
Right.
And but other countries wore masks. I think China wore masks before COVID.
Right. But I don't know if you saw...
They have horrible air quality, though.
I don't know if you saw the videos from China.
I mean, it's all propaganda, I believe. I don't know.
Mikey,
Yes, sir.
I got a couple more for you here, bud.
What do you got?
What's the most important thing that you've learned in your life so far?
Oh, wow. I think just taking accountability for everything, whether it's good or bad. All the mistakes, all the success, whatever it is. Accountability. That's the biggest thing. Owning my shit, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Being as authentic as I can. As genuine as I can.
Where do you think that you were at before you learned that?
I mean, I didn't know who I was. I mean, I was lost, basically. Lost soul. So I didn't have any. My identity was based on whatever was around me. You know, I was a chameleon in a way, I guess.
Adapting.
You know, yeah, constantly adapting. I was always moving around as a kid, so I got really good at it. But I was always fitting into someone else's mold, you know, where someone else was from. And I just learned to not be true to myself, basically, my own personality.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Like a vicarious living.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I wasn't part of that community to begin with, so I was always like an outsider. But so that it was even more important to me to try to adapt into their culture, so to speak.
Right.
You know, but I lacked authenticity doing that.
How do you think it's changed since you've held yourself accountable now? Your life, that is.
I think it's more, I treat others with respect because I know how tough it is just to wake up and do life sometimes.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all have good days and bad days. So I try to respond with, you know, as much empathy as I can. I think that's a big part of it. Even though I may not like you, I can still find some common ground and, you know, work this out somehow.
Oh, just building off of that, how has that quality really helped you as far as in the business world with your business? Being able to just be cordial and respectful to people, but like even if you don't necessarily like them
Mm-hmm.
or what they stand for.
Yeah. Example, I might be talking to a freight broker who I can tell is just trying to rush me, and you know, there's other people waiting for this load. This, you know, I still have to slow him down and maybe disarm the situation, and you know, I can tell he's not respecting what I'm saying. So, you know, some people you can't approach them, and
Right.
that's not my problem. I can't get through to someone who's not willing to listen. So I guess it's pick and choose the battles and know when I want to be right and when I just want to move on. So it's tough, you know, dealing with people. You never know what you get.
So another question, right? So in your industry, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if people understand how important really it is as like America as we run. So can you kind of get into like how important your industry is, like making the world run as it does?
Sure. Just last summer, I think those cargo ships were sitting off the coast. You know, everybody felt that. You see the prices on the shelves. You see the limits that we can buy. You know, toilet paper's bought at a limit.
Yeah.
You know, all kinds of things. Sanitation supplies were at a limit, and you know, supply and demand basically. The truck game has really been a boon, and it's really come into focus as so important.
Right.
Like, people need their stuff, and they're locked at the house. They can't go anywhere. We got shut-in orders. You know, that's scary stuff. Who's gonna drive that stuff?
Right.
You know, and that the whole supply chain issue. Like you said, somebody's waiting on parts for months, and it's like that everywhere. Finding parts for trucks and making trucks, new cars. You see the car market, the car industry, used car industry. Man, trucks can be six figures, and there's so much money to be made. There's a lot of risk on the table, and you know, the truck game is essential, like you said, and drivers or truckers need to be shown that respect.
Right.
You know, and don't pass on the right, because that's the biggest blind spot. So, little tip for you drivers out there, motorcyclists, don't pass a semi on the right.
So it's no excuse when a semi almost hits me on the left, then, right?
He's the professional driver. He's
Because
the
that's
CDL
happened.
driver.
It's happened a couple times.
He's the CDL driver.
And I'm throwing my hands up like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
I know they see me.
not every driver is number one.
Right.
You know, it's not. It's
Ricky
not.
Bobby status, huh?
Absolutely, shake and bake, baby.
I see it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the industry is they're on a clock.
Right.
Right. So it's a 70-hour work week, 14-hour work day, 11-hour drive time, half-hour break.
did some research on that.
Yeah,
So
hours of service, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You have to be aware of that, and
Yeah.
the ELD, and which is the electronic logs. So that's mandatory. That's part of that big regulation.
Mhm.
So
Go ahead.
yeah,
I was just saying you were saying something as well about being able to get pulled over at any time because they can just search you whenever.
DOT officers, yeah.
What happens is that with your schedule time, because I know something like that could take an hour.
You
or
can
longer.
get put out of service. I've actually been put out of service before. Yeah, and that's a 10-hour downtime. So it was a brake thing. So brakes were out of adjustment, and DOT popped me. So it was a sit down until it got fixed. It ended up taking 10 hours just because people couldn't get it together. Whatever, it was out in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, so.
Jeez.
Yeah, the DOT officers, that's another money grab. So, if they want to find something, they will find something. Even if it's a beautiful truck, custom, you could tell this person really takes this game seriously.
Right.
They'll still find something. So it's so obvious what it really is.
Right. Where do you envision yourself 5 years from now, especially with your company and yourself, obviously, with self-growth?
5 years from now, business-wise, I would have liked to sold this company already, moved on to something else. Probably within another 3 or 4 years, I'll look at doing that. And making my exit out of this one and then turning it into something else. I'm not sure what that is right now, but this could be set up as a passive income source, or I might get into real estate. I'm probably going to rebrand this trucking company, as I've been thinking about that. So I'd like to do that within that time. And for me personally, just continue growing. I mean, just treat people right and be true to myself. What else can I do?
I feel that. So I kind of, have a question about that. So can you actually, and it's not really a question, it's more just like, well, it is a question. Can you really get into Take Two and into like really what you do and really just use this time to really promote,
Okay.
your company?
Okay, well, Take Two, it's not my first business. So this is my second take on business. I started a pin setter servicing company before, so this is my second take on business, right? So I have that experience, and I'm bringing it in to this. So it's a motor carrier, non-CDL. We are registered in the lower 48 states. We can haul anywhere in the lower 48 states. So that's what we do. Anything up to 26,000 pounds. And I'm looking at getting TSA certified so I can take cargo to and from O'Hare, say, Midway, wherever, Kenosha. So I'm always thinking of little wrinkles and other avenues of setting myself apart from, the masses. So this is a booming market. Chicago's home. And I mean, you can eat right here in the backyard. There's enough work here for people and other businesses. So there's plenty of room in this game for other people. So that's another thing I like, being able to work with other businesses. Like I said, this shirt was a blessing. It came from another entrepreneur, another cell phone business. So I never know who I'm going to run into. That's another part of this that I love. I'm always running into different people and meeting other business owners. I deliver to other businesses, so I'm always talking, and I'm really excited about where it's going.
Right.
Just making it through year one is a big thing.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm still growing. It's, I'm still learning. I still bump my head all the time.
Of course.
So, but I'm here. I keep showing up.
Yeah.
So, no one's going to outwork me, that's for sure. That is for absolute sure.
Yeah, I say that all the time, man. Nobody's going to care about what I love more than myself.
Yep.
Nobody will.
Yep. I'm responsible for it. Good or bad. So that's what Take Two's on right now, and we may go into dispatching. I'm always looking for good other owner operators to work with and other motor carriers to work with to network, and maybe we could all focus our energy on one area, you know, get those big contracts. So that's a great part of the freight game as well, is there's so many avenues and opportunities for people that are just truck and freight specific.
Right.
Like yourself, you're
Right.
about to get into the game.
Exactly.
So-
From the other side. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a lot of opportunity there.
Absolutely. And just getting into the more of the logistics game, where being that middleman between shipper and basically the carrier.
Right.
So yeah, it's really interesting, kind of learning it from this side, and like we've had a couple conversations about the game and everything. So it's really interesting. Like you said, it's a lot of work for everybody out here. So if you're hungry, you know, it's one of the fastest growing industries, you know, and it's like a necessity. It's a necessity.
It's recession proof.
Yeah.
There's never enough trucks. I mean, people can't get their stuff fast enough. You know, Amazon 1-day delivery.
Absolutely.
That sucker's on the doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not slowing down either.
Nope. And there's more people just are like at home, especially during this whole. I mean, I would like. I'm sure the price went up, you know, during this whole thing, because the demand was so strong. You had so many people at home. I remember like delivery prices for just food was everything went up, you know, and I mean I just felt like during this time you had to like tip, you know, if you didn't tip, like
Of course.
like you had to kind of go out of your way and do a tip bigger than what you normally did. So for me personally, I ate out less just so that when I did eat out, I could tip that person, because that's a lot. Like you're putting yourself at risk, you know. So like it's very important that like this industry is very important to just how we live every day.
Very lucrative.
Very
lucrative,
for sure.
It is. And like I said, there's a lot of risk on the table. Insurance cost is crazy. The regulation from the government is not getting any less. So there are some hurdles there.
Of course.
And ways around it as well. I mean, you could drive a vehicle that's under 10,000 pounds gross weight, and it wouldn't be considered a commercial vehicle. And you can run that joint all day, 24/7. There's no regulations. So there are other ways, but then you would have to scale, go wider, you know, have a fleet to really make what one semi could make.
Right.
So it's, but there's different ways to make it. If you want to do it that way, you're free to do it. So that's the beautiful thing.
That's fire.
Yeah. There's always so much more to learn.
Absolutely.
So.
All right. Can kind of, I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah.
Appreciate you diving into that. You can
Sure.
kind of, venture away a little bit. I mean, you ride motorcycles. What kind of bike do you ride now?
I have, my first bike is actually outside right now. It's a 883 Harley Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it just before COVID. So, they offered me just as much as I paid for it. You know, I've had it for 4 years. So
I've seen it.
it was a decent investment.
It's a sexy bike for sure.
Very nice bike.
Thank
Very
you.
nice bike.
Thank you. I'm blessed to have it. You know, I'm very fortunate to even be in the position to have it and be able to have kept it over the last couple of years. And I'm very grateful for it. And it was one of those things, like, I had a dream one night actually that I was riding a motorcycle. It was very vivid. I could close my eyes right now and still see the dream. And I hadn't ridden a motorcycle before. Actually, I did. I rode a dirt bike, and I just whiskey throttled that bitch. And I went down. I got scared. I grabbed the front brake with the wheel cock, so I just went straight down. And luckily, I was fine. You know, I was more shaken up than anything.
Right.
And I didn't touch a bike until just a few years ago. And I took the Riders Academy thing. I failed the first one. I went back the next week. This was the last one for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I aced that thing. I was the first one out there. And then I went and took it again at the DMV. So to get the motorcycle endorsement. Right. And again, I was there at like 6 o'clock, first one on the range, and clocked it. So that was it was a personal hurdle that I always wanted to get over. It was like a fear that I had to get over.
Absolutely.
I had to face that.
Yeah.
It was
And
important for my personal growth. Oh my goodness, it's like a meditation when I'm riding the motorcycle. If I have tunes in my ear or not, just the sound of the road and the bike, it's just so peaceful.
Yeah, that's fire.
Right? But then there's also the element of, oh shit, a deer.
Yeah, especially out here in the Midwest.
And I've run up on deer before and spooked them, and those things are so quick and they turn on a dime, and man, talk about the heart racing, so big shout out to all those motorcycle riders out there. Please be aware, keep your eyes out for motorcycle riders. We're coming out. It's that time of year. We got the bikes out. They're clean.
Yeah.
We're out there riding. So you see us. It doesn't need to be, but 35 degrees in the Midwest, and we're out there with sunshine and salt's out the road,
Right.
Off the road, I should say. And yeah, it's a big part of my life now. So I look forward to it. I get cabin fever, and just getting out there it calms me down a lot.
Fire.
Yeah, it's great.
That was going to be my follow-up question, but you kind of answered it already for me. I mean, you started off your journey with an accident, essentially. I mean,
I did.
Are you worried about, you know what I mean? I mean, I know you see videos and stuff like that. You're lucky enough to,
of course.
I mean, smart enough to wear your helmet, and I know that because I see that.
I wear the gear. I do wear the gear. Even if people, look at me a certain way because of it, I don't care.
Right.
It's not their ass in the seat.
That's your life.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, cut you.
No, you don't. I mean, you didn't necessarily cut me off. You kind of already answered my question. I mean, is there any kind of rational fear out there when you're on the bike?
Of course.
Yeah, that's
of course.
the only reason why I haven't got one.
It's healthy fear.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to respect it at all times.
Right.
And, there's that moment that you're slipping, that's when you're caught. And, don't ride tired. Know your limits, ride within your skill. There's a lot of things that you'll learn, if you take a course that, they point out this psychology of riding and the physics of riding and what the maneuvers and the cone weaves and lock to lock maneuvers. Police officers go through intense training. I don't know if you guys have seen the drills that they go through, the maneuvers with these bikes it's a great skill and a lot of dedication. So, there's fear, and you have to have fear in order to respect it. For me,
right?
I just make sure that my head's in the game if I'm going to ride.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had one more question for you. You mentioned that you bowled. Is there anything that stood out? What's the biggest thing that stood out to you in your bowling career? Because you were talking about that. I mean, the pin setting, and that obviously had something to do with it, right?
It did.
That was the first. Well, yeah. I mean, that was the first business that you started. But I'm saying, is there anything that stood out in your bowling career the most? Any kind of exciting moment or scary moment or you know what I mean? Just kind of the biggest highlight moment in your bowling career that stood out to you that you can recall.
My bowling career as a bowler or as
both
someone in the business?
Both.
Okay.
Absolutely. It could be a two-parter.
Okay. Well, as a bowler, 789 is my high series, so I almost touched 800, almost. But I've been a scratch bowler for a long time, so I spent a lot of time on the lanes, and like you said, behind the scenes on the pin setter, facility maintenance, lane maintenance, certification. With the lane machine, I've spent so many hours studying the game.
You've probably seen the evolution of them too. I'm sure they're way more advanced now than they used to be.
It's still the same technology. Really? Yeah, with as far as pin setters, I mean, there are new, more advanced things, and scoring is different, and bowling has changed quite a bit as far as less scratch bowlers out there, and sanctioned leagues are less. So that game has changed quite a bit. It's more for entertainment.
Right.
But there's still, that core of, this guy's a bowler. There's still those people out there that go out there and, like Kingpin, throwing their 20s down and, going heads up.
Yeah.
So pop bowling, it's still alive. Definitely still alive.
You ever run into any kind of conflict?
Always. All the time. There's shit talking on the lanes, conflict, people get shot.
I mean, like fights?
Oh, absolutely. When I worked for Brunswick Zone, around here, there were fights and just all kinds of stuff all the time.
What's the craziest story that you can recall, that like fight-wise?
The craziest story?
Yeah, I want to know.
I would say, well, I know there was a shooting in Oak Lawn, which was horrible and tragic, and that
was over a game.
And it was at, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was, that may have been a side thing, but, I think it was more a personal conflict. But that had happened at a Brunswick Zone, so.
It's crazy.
We're open late, people are drinking,
yeah.
We're partying, basically, it's an all-night party. Everybody's just messed up, pretty much.
Oh, I've seen Aaron Bowl, I know.
Once they,
I mean, why are you going to the bowling alley if you're not getting lit? But that's just me.
Right. Right. And that would be the craziest part of it, is that potential for violence. But
of course, with the drinking and everything.
Yeah.
And just the competitive. Yeah, that's
true.
Of course, yeah, it can definitely get heated easily.
Right.
I can definitely see that.
Things get said a certain way at a certain time.
I get it.
You never know. But yeah, those are my two highlights from bowling.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Mike. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I had fun.
Take Two Transport.
Yep, that's it.
We're plugging that. Take Two Transport. Everybody knows that name. Everybody's gonna know that name.
MC number 125-1891.
There we go.
There you go. Thank you so much again for coming on. You got Blake Steele over here, my co-host, Kid ISO Aaron.
Yeah, what's good?
Thank you everybody for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Go ahead. You got one more point?
Oh yeah. Go get that ISO's Finally Home out now. ISO's Finally Home by Kid ISO. Songs produced by G Money, and the video was shot by G Money. It's on the Northside Plug page. So go check that out. Go show that some love. And yeah, that's it.
Go check that shit out. Thank you, everybody.
Hell yeah.
We love you all. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.
Wade in the water, just wade in the water. Make sure your steps don't falter, and so the dogs don't follow. Negro spirituals kept me safe from all my partners. Holy scriptures in the verses that I fucking author. Smoking weed and eating with some fucking beasts. Lil drummer boy fed me beats and a nigga feast. Inspired in the Bible, but influenced by Diallo. Nah,